Hey guys, we're back again for another one. This week we have Zach with us. He is a coin dealer, rare coin dealer from ZR Rare Coin. Today's title is Passion to Profession Building a Career in Numismatics. Yeah, we're excited to have you today. You have quite a bit of a history. I noticed A&A mentioned you as well as one of the young numicists growing in the industry, and it's really exciting to have you here. How's it going, Zach?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, I'm happy to be on, and I'm doing pretty well.
John, how's it going?
Going great. Can't complain. Metals continue to go up in value, and the market in general is really robust. So it's great, and it's great having you, Zach. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So yeah, it's been a huge boom. 2026 is growing strong. The industry is growing. A lot more interest happening around the industry and the hobby. And it's been exciting. 2026 is definitely something that we foresaw with the price of silver hitting almost 100. John called that about halfway through 2025 early in our episode. So it's good to see that come to fruition. Yeah, maybe a little bit about what's going on with you, Zach. I know you went to the fun show, and how was that?
Yeah, so I was just at the fun show in Orlando, Florida I was there for the dealer day as well as when it was open to the public. I was there as a buyer. I work for Flower Hill Coins and Collectibles as a professional numismatist. That is a general term. I serve a lot of different functions, whether it's running our Whatnot show or wholesale dealing or just buying stuff that makes sense for the company. Those are some of the many tasks that I have to do. And down there in Florida, I was buying a lot of Morgan dollars, Franklin half dollars, and those sorts of things. I was super surprised to see, not super surprised, but I was excited to see how many people from the public were there lined up to just get in. And the energy at the show, I think it surrounds the price of silver, it surrounds pennies, it surrounds all of what's been going on in the news with coins. That just the retail public energy was very strong there.
Yeah. Hey, Zach, were you buying raw or graded?
A combination of the two, whatever made sense at the prices that we needed to pay and what our clients want.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't get to go this year. I fell sick last week, and we didn't have a booth this year. For some reason, we just skipped. We normally do a summer booth and a winter, but this year I was just going to go there like you to buy and to meet some other dealers that I buy from and have been working with for years. So I'm glad to hear that it was, and I've heard that from other people that were there, that it was an active show, and that makes me really happy.
Yes.
Sweet.
Well, let's run through the intro so you guys a little familiar with what's going on. My name is Dustin Lee, host American Coin and Currency. I'm here at the social media. John Madey, CEO, founder of American Coin and Currency. Zach is Ratté. How you pronounce your last name?
My last name, yeah, it's an accent aigu. It's Ratté, like pate.
Ratté. Okay, Zach Ratté. So here's an intro. You guys get to know him. He's part of ZR Rare Coin. Zach's numismatic journey began at 9 years old. At the age of 10, he was already running a rare coin business. Deals with U.S. world and ancient coin, built an extensive network of dealers and collectors nationwide. 2024, Zach sold over $100,000 in coins. Attended major national coin shows in Baltimore, Pittsburgh, and Orlando. This year, or 2025, he continues to expand, or 2026 actually, continues to expand professional connections, the work of professional numicists at Flower Hill Coins, Collectibles in Long Island, New York. Zach graduated UMass Amherst with a BA in history. Personal collecting interests include Buffalo nickels and NES soapbox holders, ancient Roman imperial coins, and Haitian coinage, numismatic material related to Black liberation. History, passion, and authenticity drives both the business and collecting philosophy. That's man, you got some rap here. And I see the thing on the ANA actually. Yeah, I want that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're like up and coming, yeah. Because A&A has mentioned you. I've seen you quite a bit on LinkedIn. So I was like, yeah, we got to get him on. He's, you're up and coming and smart guy. Like, it's good to see, young, interested, numismatists growing in the industry, especially at 9 years old. Like, I had a knack too, but I didn't get, like that as, familiar. I guess I went to like the Pokemon route.
Yeah.
You went to the rare coins, and it's good to see that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've been interested in numismatics and coins since I was incredibly young. And unlike a lot of people in the industry, I didn't have anyone in my family that was a coin dealer or even a coin collector. So the way I got into it was, oddly enough, my dad did construction. My dad also was an Eagle Scout, and he just everything from his childhood, whether it was like Matchbox cars or like the ticket stubs from baseball games he went to, or his aunt traveled the world and had some coins from all over the world. So he just had a bunch of at this point it was like antiques, or not like antiques but collectibles, because he was in his 40s and 50s when he's showing me this stuff. And so I became obsessed with like researching the values of these things online. And there was a lot that was actually way more than I expected. I'm like, what, this one Boy Scout patch is worth $40? Like, this is pretty cool. So I started looking at the values, and then I started helping them sell it. I was doing the research and the listings, like 8 or 9 years old on these things, and that kind of just sparked my entrepreneurial spirit to just be working alongside collectibles, antiques, coins, and those sorts of things from an incredibly young age.
Wow. Great story. And I think a lot of us that get into this industry have a similar story, where we get pulled to it at a young age, and it just infects us. And that's a lifelong infection, that the only cure for it is more coins.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'm assuming, so that's about 15 years ago, give or take. 14.
It's weird to say I have 15 years of experience in the industry.
Yeah. That was a good time, too.
Zach, let me ask you, what is it that even now when you think about it, what is it that initially drew? I knew you mentioned your father and those items. Maybe that was the draw. But what was the hook that really sunk in you, that you're like, this is what I'm going to do the rest of my life? What is it that you love about this industry? Can you kind of specify that?
There's a couple factors. I'd say one of them is weirdly out of convenience. So when my dad was having all this stuff that he wanted to sell or get rid of or whatever, I ended up walking into an antique shop. It was like a multi-dealer antique shop and collectible shop in the town over from mine. And we would always do we'd go to flea markets, would do that, and would do like picks. So it'd be like, oh, what are we going to buy? And like, let's see if each one of us can pick out something to resell to make money on. And then that kind of spiraled into, from like 12 to 16, I had a bookcase like booth at an antique store. So I was selling random collectibles that I'd pick up at flea markets, as well as coins and things like that. And I developed a close relationship with the owner. At the same time, I was also doing metal detecting. And with metal detecting in Massachusetts, one of the things that you really find a lot of is like obviously relics, but coins. So like I'm looking at my red book. I found a 1787 Fugio at 13 years old.
No way.
In Massachusetts.
Wow.
Yeah. So I posted that on YouTube. I was super into the coins part of that. And about convenience, like it drove my parents crazy having this huge inventory of miscellaneous antiques that I was picking up at flea market. I thought coins were so cool, and I was finding these things metal detecting. And I'm like, to have $1 million worth of coins, it can be in a box. $1 million antiques, you need a warehouse. Like, so at the end of the day, like to make it, I wasn't driving my parents crazy, filling up everywhere full of antiques. I was like, coins are cool. They take up very little space, and they could contain a lot of history in just one little object. And that's kind of where I went down that path specifically.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
what are some of like the early challenges like as like a young dealer? Like what are kind of some of like things that are like kind of like breaking your way into like the industry?
I'd say like a lot of times people didn't take me seriously. It took a while for um myself to like not be like, oh, like this guy's like a kid or whatever, like to be treated
Right.
as an equal, especially like buying and selling. And like people, like honestly, I've had dealers that were like shocked that like what I had wasn't stolen or it wasn't from like my family or whatever. It was like all
Makes
stuff
sense.
I had built out up myself. So that was definitely a struggle. But like with experience, even when you're young, like comes like a reputation where you have like a network of dealers that you've developed that can kind of like back you up and say like this guy's legit. The other thing is on eBay, which is where I was primarily selling when I was
Right.
young. They didn't know I was 12, 13 years old. They just knew
No.
shipping was fast. They knew my pictures were good, my descriptions were accurate, and I had nice stuff, and they were going to buy it.
Yep.
So that's the other thing. But yeah, I've definitely seen some older people like, oh, this person's young. I would never do business with someone like that. They don't have the maturity in order to be a fair dealer and like not like screw you over or get greedy or something like that. I'm like, that's what old dealers do also. So it has nothing to do with age, you know?
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. eBay is very unbiased. That's a good analogy. Is that it doesn't matter as long as you're a good dealer. Your reputation's built on your efforts. Doesn't matter
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
age you are. Um, yeah, that's huge. Yeah, I mean, and you were in the industry like in the early mid 2000s, I guess to say like late. I don't know what the time frame would be, like
Yeah.
2029 or
I think
2009, somewhere in there, 2010.
like, I think I took over my dad's eBay account fully in like, I want to say like 2014, 2015, that sort of,
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Yeah, that was a good time, because it was still like for me, it's like eBay. I mean, eBay was obviously established, but like things that were coming into fruition were like marketplace from Facebook. Craigslist was quite. I used Craigslist quite a bit to get a lot of like electronics and whatnot, and like a lot of I got a lot of sales through Craigslist early on in the early 2000s, but um I guess like eBay's really just kind of held its place over the years. I've come
Yeah.
back and forth with eBay now. Like whatnot is now something, and eBay Live. So like when it comes to like your kind of like breakthrough moment, like when was that? Like while you were younger, while you were an adult, like how was that for you?
I'd say two breakthrough moments for me. One would be like my first real flip was my first time. There's both the breakthrough moments that I've had have been the only times that I've asked my parents for money to buy coins. So the
Mm,
first time I asked my parents for money, I bought a 1909 S Lincoln Cent in like fine VF condition on eBay at auction for
cool.
$7, and that was like back when I was
Wow.
9 years old. I said,
Jesus.
I asked my dad, can I have the 87? I'll give you the 87 back when I resell it. I sold it on eBay for like $127, a month later. So that was pretty good. And that
Yeah.
really, like, that was one of the main catalysts for my dad really supporting me, is just like saying, please just trust me on like this. I know I'm going to make money. Can
Mm,
you front this? And he's like, yeah, it's $87. I know you're a little kid, but like maybe you know what you're doing. And to have that was definitely, I'd say, a catalyst. And then also, when I was in college, I basically I made a point to put my name out there a lot, especially locally, and I bought a lot of collections, and I bought them at a fair number for both the seller and myself.
mm.
And I stumbled upon a collection from a mutual connection, and it turned out to be over $100,000 worth of material,
Whoa.
and classic US type, all raw. It was developed from the 1950s to the 1980s, and that's when it ended. So that was an incredible opportunity. Again, the only other time I asked my parents for money to buy a collection, I actually bought it over the course. I self-funded. I bought it over the course of around a year and would just sell in parts. And I've developed a really good relationship with the seller. And she knew that, you know, my checks were good and everything. And it was a great experience. And I learned a lot by buying those coins, because like if you have a lot of experiences in certain series, then you kind of almost, by making the mistakes, you become an expert on the series in a weird way. Like I learned all about Overton varieties for bust coinage, specifically because there was a huge portion of that collection was bust coinage. So I had to learn Overton varieties in order to make money, you know? So it really helps to, you know, just kind of dive headfirst into something. And, you know, there was a lot of coins that I left thousands of dollars on the table because of inexperience. And that's just got something I mean, I made money, but I left thousands of dollars on the table. And it's something you just have to do, because now you know, like, oh, I can work this angle in the future if a similar situation arises. So you got to do it. And if you're making money, it doesn't matter that much.
It's
Yeah.
true. And one of the things that, as you mentioned, Zach, when we go to purchase an estate, a collection, whatever it might be, every time you do that, if there's something that you're not really familiar with, you're learning. You have to do research, right? To price things, especially things that maybe you haven't seen or purchased. Well, we've seen a lot, but not purchased before. And so you're constantly getting an education. So people that love being educated, learning new things, this industry fits hand in hand with that, because you can literally never stop learning. You know, every day, I'm sure you learn something new. I learned something new in this business. So to me, that's always exciting. And you had mentioned earlier uh, about how you have a network of dealers, and that's so important in this industry, because your network is really your foundation and your strength. And I just want to get your opinion on how important networks are in this industry.
So I'd say, like, going on to another catalyst for my career, I basically, in college, like my last 3 years of college, I'd go to every national show I could, and just I'd skip class. I'd find a way to make it work, and I'd fly out, and I'd also find a way to make it work that even if I'm breaking even at the show in terms of the value that I provide, I'd find a way to break even or make money. And then I'd also find, like, for the flights, for the hotels and all these sorts of things. And I'd find a way that every show I'm going to, I'm meeting new people, I'm building new connections. And I was in college at the time. So it was either, you know, my future was going to be get a full-time job as a coin dealer, as a professional numismatist, or do it all myself. And I needed to talk to as many people as possible. And by the time I was graduating college, I was in classes for museums, for history. Like, oh, maybe I do something along the lines of this. And I do the coins on the side, you know, to help, you know, increase my income. And by that time, I was like, I had multiple job offers from, you know, all different dealers and auction houses. And I was like, okay, this is it. Like, I'm actually going to just go all out, do this for a living. And, you know, that's where I've landed myself now. Is I work for, like, the major, like, wholesaler for Morgan dollars and Peace dollars, where if you look at the gray sheet, which is, for those, I don't know how many people don't know what the gray sheet is, but it's like the price guide for, if you look at the gray sheet, the price guide for dealers for, you know, every US coin and in roll form, in proof sets, in, you know, each different grade and designation. And if you look at the Morgan dollars, like our company, Flower Hill, our ad, my coworker, great photographer, great graphic designer, where our ad is right next to the values for the Morgan dollars. It's the full page ad there. If I'm running the show, people will be like, oh, like, you work for what company again? I'm like, and they'll have the gray sheet open to price these things out. I'm like, look, right there, that's our company, Flower Hill. So
Wow.
it really helps to, you know, work with a company that has such, like, a long-standing reputation, especially, like, in our series, like, which is primarily Morgan dollars. And so, you know, if someone's writing you a check and buying from you, and we're on all the dealer networks, everyone knows who we are, I can walk over to, five dealers around me, and they'll know our company, they'll know me, and that's industry is surrounded by trust. So it's super important to maintain and build like a really good reputation, and just to have people know who you are and know that you're good, like you're someone that wants to do business with everyone and wants their business to be, someone that is recommended. Like, oh, if this person has a coin that's for us, like we want them to come to our table, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah. And this is a business that is still your handshake or your verbal agreement is concrete when working with other dealers. So if you get a reputation as someone who's difficult to work with, or someone that doesn't pay their in a timely fashion, whatever the case may be, but I can't tell you how many 6-figure deals I've done, and it's just like handshake, or I'm on the phone. And that's why to me, it's still such a great business, because there's a lot of trust between dealers and also with customers, right? I mean, all the time I have customers that I ship that have been working with us for a long time. I'm sure you do as well, Zach, that, we'll ship them coins before they pay. We'll do all kinds of favors for them, whatever it might be, because that's the trust that gets built up.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, Flower Hill is a top tier dealer. I've bought from them in the past, and yeah, you're right. Your Morgans are amazing. So, kudos to you guys. Great stuff you have, and keep it coming.
Yeah, we're definitely looking to, we just I'm not going to say what it is, but we just bought a PCGS graded Morgan that was the only one in that grade, and there's 2 in a higher grade. And we just won it at auction. There's the 2 in the higher grade. There's none that have been ever sold at auction, so we don't even know what those 2 look like. So that was a pretty cool pickup to see.
Wow, I'm excited about that. That sounds really cool. I mean, I'm intrigued now. I'm trying to think, because I read everything that comes in here, and I'm just trying to think if I know off the top of my head.
Yeah.
High-end Morgan that just sold in auction. Was it Stacks or Heritage?
It was a Heritage sale, and I will say it was a proof-like Morgan that you never see in proof-like.
Interesting. Cool.
And so proof-like is a weird thing, but it's a designation that we do a lot with, because at the end of the day, if you are looking for a Morgan in MS66, there's usually going to be like a couple in MS66, maybe one in 66 plus, and then the sole finest in 67. But that same Morgan, there might only be, if it's a certain date that just they don't come in proof, like there might only be the highest grade in proof, like is like a 64 or 65. Those are stored tucked away deep in someone's collection. If someone needs one of those, they're willing to pay, because it's something that you just will see once every 3 years come up for auction. And that's what we like to acquire, is material that you just never see. So if you find the right buyer, they're willing to pay up for it.
Yep. Hey, Zach, can you tell our audience the difference, what proof-like is with a Morgan, and then, even though we didn't bring it up, a DMPL?
So the designations on a Morgan would be like the standard, which would be just like a mint state coin. And then there's a secondary designation, which is proof-like and deep mirror proof-like. Those are going to be coins where, because they're such freshly struck, like one of the first coming off the press, that their dies are polished, so it has a mirror-like finish. And basically, if you hold the Morgan down in your hand and then you put a business card, you can literally read the business card in the fields up to 1-inch or 2-inch mirrors, depending on whether it's proof-like or deep mirror proof-like, which is even more brilliant and reflective.
Yep. I love when we get those in. I love coming across them. I've even recently sent out a few to, it might have been PCG or is that NGC, but either way, once you're handling a lot of Morgans over time, it's pretty easy, I guess, to see which ones are going to grade out proof-like for the most part, using what Zach had just mentioned, that technique, as well as just a couple other visual techniques. What was that?
there's an exception. 1880s and 1881s Morgans are just, they're known to be so strongly struck that the basically the level that it needs to be at is higher because you're using a baseline for the date and mint mark combination. So like I've had a lot of people like, oh my God, this is a proof like Morgan. And I'm like, it's an 1880s, or it's an 1881s. They're all proof like. It's just a matter, they really, really need to be proof like to be a dimple, you know?
Yep. So, Zach, why would it be? This is something that happens quite often in different series where, like the 80 and 81, they all look proof-like. But then you go to other years and other mint marks, and it's hard to find a proof-like. What was it about those coins in particular that caused them to be created like that? I mean, they're using the same dyes, they polish them. Do you know what would cause that to happen, where they all come out like that?
I believe like it's just got to have something to do with like how many dyes they used. I mean, the amount of the length, because you can watch in the Van progression, which is Van something. I'm not exactly sure what it stands for, but every Morgan has different die pairings with different combinations of die cracks or in that that some serious researchers have taken the time to check every single variety from every front and back die of the coin. And I suppose I guess this is you've caught me on a tough question, because I'm not exactly sure why those 2 years. I know that San Francisco is known to have strongly struck Morgans compared to like New Orleans, for example, but I'm not 100% sure why those particular years are just known to come so. I mean, they were released in bags from the mint in the 60s and 70s, so there's just so many of them in uncirculated. In fact, far more in uncirculated than circulated conditions. So, yeah, I'm not 100% sure as to why those are so frequently seen in proof like.
I don't know the answer either, and I was just asking. The same thing tends to happen, and I'm always curious about it with Morgans. Let's say toned Morgans, certain years, and like New Orleans, a lot of them seem to tone, and some other years, but certain Morgans from certain mints you never see toned. Have you had
Yeah,
that same experience?
I've seen that, and that is actually something that I can provide more of an answer on. I mean, I
I'd
was
love that. Yeah.
through proof sets today, and 1963, 62, and 61. Even looking at those proof sets, they were sealed in the envelope. We're opening them up because there's no premium to sealed anymore with silver this high. And
Wow.
through them, and the 1961s were more toned than the 1963s. Is it because the storage for those 3 extra years? No, it's because something was going on with the cellophane and the acidity of the paper, and these different factors that are just like microscopic at the end of the day. But after 70 or 100 years, there's going to be, when there's like this one bag had slightly more sulfur or slightly more acid or these sorts of things, that it ended up just being more frequent to see these things toned. Like if you look at a Dansko album full of Jefferson Nichols or even like Kennedy half dollars, there's going to be some years that are just known to tone more. And it's just how it is. There's just probably microscopic differences in the packaging of the storage that all manifests itself into some of them just never being toned.
Yeah, it's almost like it's on the atomic level.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that.
No problem.
Yeah. I wanted to jump into kind of giving advice to like the younger generation. So, what is kind of some of the advice you'd give for someone that's joining the hobby?
I'd say, like, no matter how scary it is, make a point of introducing yourself to people and just saying, like, being honest and saying like, look, I'm getting into this. I want to learn as much as I can. I want to, buy nice coins from you, but I want to get a fair price and those sorts of things. And just like understanding that like to respect a dealer's time and like for going into a shop, even when I was younger, I'd go into a shop, and if I was treated with respect and the prices were somewhat fair, I'm not going to go into the shop and spend 30 minutes in there looking at for one variety, never finding it, and never buying a coin. I'll go in there and I'll spend $50, $20 on a coin that they'll make a decent amount of money, and I might break even, but it's just out of courtesy and respect to like you're using their time and expertise. Like you need to make them a little bit of money as a favor, even because that earns their respect. They'd rather do business with the guy that goes in and buys a coin every single time, and then maybe in the future we'll do a wholesale deal of $1,000 worth of coin than the guy that asks a billion questions and then never ends up buying it.
Never buys.
Yeah.
There's lots of them. Lots of them out there.
Ask all the questions, but buy the coin for $50
Exactly.
at the end of the day. It's $50. Your value, the advice you're getting and what you're learning is worth far more than that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Good advice.
Yeah, build that rapport. Yeah, I mean, just small buys, goes a long way. Shows interest, shows value. Yeah, it's a good analogy. Yeah, I wanted to bring up what we have here from the ANA. I know you mentioned about your award scholarship. I wanted to touch on that and get your take on what it takes to become, like a young numismatist, and like, what did you do to like get this like scholarship per se?
So this is funny enough. Not last fall, but the fall before, I basically was talking to Greg Rowan, who's the president of Heritage. He kind of, it was one of the places that I was considering working after graduating. And he introduced me to a program that was being sponsored by Heritage, which was the PNG Next Gen, Professional Numismatics Guild Next Gen, which is from people ages 15 to 25 that are interested in doing something in the realm of coins as a career, or people that are just super advanced collectors that need like a community. And so every national show we get to, that was my first one, that Baltimore that Greg invited me to, that you get to go to all these very nice dinners. I definitely recommend joining it if you are in that range. Go to great dinners, talk to the top people in the industry, and just network as much as you can. It's basically they want people to be the holding the torch for the next generation. So they're putting a lot of money into this, and if you can, definitely take advantage of it. Because shortly after that, actually at a fun dinner, I sat next to David Crenshaw, and David Crenshaw is the one of the lead people on like the board of the NCBA, National Coin and Bullion Association, which basically is a lobbying group for the benefit of coin and bullion dealers, for lobbying basically for fairer taxes for dealers.
Yep.
They said they were offering a scholarship for young numismatists, and I guess the cutoff at the time was 22. I was 22. I applied to it, and because of that dinner that I was sitting down next to him, that it was the chance to go on this scholarship to go to the ANA Summer Seminar, which is another experience and education opportunity that I'd recommend to anyone like looking to break into the industry as well, because I met people at there that I'll do wholesale deals at a show that I know literally just from my class. And so yeah, just the initial launch of like connecting with one person, then connecting with more, and just going to as many events as you can lead to incredible opportunities like what I was lucky enough to get for the scholarship.
So you work with some of the people that you went to school with, and like
Yeah,
you see them every year.
Like we'll see, I'll see people that I was in. I saw 𝗣𝗂𝘀𝘀𝗶𝘀, and he has a coin shop in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. And I knew to go over to his table because we know each other. We were in class together. We both learned about coin dealing together. So we did a wholesale deal last show. I ended up spending a decent chunk of change at his table, and he was very fair. And I could say a number, and we just, it flowed well. And we both understood how to do this because of the fact that we were in the same class together. So he's also 18 years old, and he's a full-time dealer. So it's a very impressive person, very good person to work with.
That's great. Yeah, that's good to see. Familiar faces in the space and like growing. Yeah, that's always a plus.
Yeah, and we need that. I mean, I'm middle-aged. But a lot of dealers, Dustin, you have to understand, as Zach knows, have been in the business 30, 40, 50 years, some 60, and they're old. They're getting older, they're 70s, 80s. And so guys like Zach coming in and, a whole new generation is so important for this industry. And people that are trained correctly, and people that have morals, and that people that have the customer's best interests in mind. That's all so important for our industry to continue to do the best that it can for the public.
Yeah. Sure. It's my Olivia, the owner, is in her 30s. The oldest person at our office is in their 30s. That's a very rare occurrence for a coin dealer, especially a major national coin dealer in this country. And that's reassuring. It's cool to see younger people, because one of the things she said is I'm with another dealer that works for David Lawrence Rare Coin, and he's 19, and we're talking about we're going to do business 40 years from now. We're going to see each other at the
just keep going.
Weird to think about, but it does make sense. It's like, maintain these relationships, grow these relationships with people your age, because who else is going to be behind the table besides the people that are, in their 30s and 20s now?
True.
The guys unfortunately in their 60s and 70s aren't going to be there behind the table. So we need a next generation of high moral good people to do business with, and good people to promote the future of the hobby as dealers at the national show circuit. And that's what I'm looking to do. That's what our whole company is looking to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you see more? Well, let me rephrase this, Zach. What do you see in moving forward? And I love getting a younger person's perspective, but what do you see moving forward as pitfalls in the industry, as well as things that will propel the industry moving forward, including bringing younger collectors into the fold?
Yeah, I'd say the I guess it's both a pitfall and it is a positive, but I'd say live streaming through Whatnot and eBay Live are platforms that encourage people that otherwise wouldn't be interested in coins to start building a collection. But I definitely say there's a lot of people that trap inexperienced collectors with coins that they don't want by presenting them as something better than they actually are. My goal is to, when I stream, I'm like, yeah, there's stuff that falls into that category that I'm selling, but I'm not going to tell everyone that this Eisenhower dollar is really rare and valuable like some people will. I'll say this is an Eisenhower dollar. It's in beautiful condition, bid whatever you want on it. That's that. And then I'll be like, when I have a really nice piece that I feel passionate about, I feel like this is something that's worth buying. And obviously the Eisenhower dollar, if that's your thing, then buy it. But if this Franklin half dollar in an old holder with great toning is something I like, then the next person's going to like it as well. So I really want that to show through. And I think that's something that live streamers should do in the future, is like, if you really hate this coin, why are you trying to make the next person like it? Like, that's not, you're doing a disservice. No one's going to sell that coin back to you. If you're selling a coin for and presenting it as a $100 coin, and it's the sort of coin that if someone walked into your shop, you're only spending $25 on it. Like, that's not long term. You're not thinking long term at that point. And I'd say, like, yeah, it's all right to sell, that Eisenhower dollar, that not high end material, but make sure you're not making it seem like something it's not.
Yeah,
That's true.
good advice.
All right, let's go into the community questions. We got some questions here. Let's see. Starting young. Okay. Starting so young, what advantage did age give you, and what challenges did it create?
It definitely, I mean, I had nowhere to go in the industry but like get more connections, more well known, and start dealing with more expensive stuff. And I mentioned earlier, like, the other thing is, with that comes like a lot of people like being anxious to want to deal with you, and like, concerned that like what you have might be like your parents or it's not your business. It's like you're really just doing it on behalf of someone else. And that's something I actually dealt with up until like really recently. Like, I'd be at a show and I'd be hustling like $1,000 coins, and be like, oh, who do you work for? And this is like a couple years back. It's like, no, these are all my coins, I bought them. Like it's just the assumption that you, as someone that's young, that you couldn't have built this up yourself, is pretty interesting. So I respect a lot of people that have been able to do that themselves, but I also respect the people that like where I'm at now, where like the stability and like having a great mentor and somewhat a company that you work for that can provide those sorts of opportunities for yourself to deal in some incredible material is also really cool. Because either way, you're doing a cool job, and selling awesome stuff, buying awesome stuff. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I can say about that. Is the biggest downfall is people just not believing you because just purely based on your age.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, good question, Verma. Let's see, we got some more questions. Okay, why do coin shows still matter in the world dominated by online platforms?
I think it's the reason coin shows still matter is for the same reason that spending time with people in person still matters. Like, you're
Yeah.
never going to be able to get the same connection online. That, like, as someone that, I mean, I've met friends because of online through coins. Like, when I was 16 or 17, like, that's the first time I met a friend, a stranger from online that was my age, because of coins. And that was like nerve-wracking to me, but now it's like something I do regularly, because like, where else am I going to find people that share common interests with me, and we're on the same page, and we can talk about the most niche stuff, but we're still going out to a bar after this coin show, and just having a great time. Like, I think that that personal connection is just really what makes it. So like, these are my friends, like I see them 5 times a year because of the national circuit. And
Right.
that's really where the importance is just maintaining these friendships and relationships that otherwise you wouldn't be able to do. And it's nice because you get to see a lot of the people that you dealt with online. We'll have people that are like, oh, I know you guys from whatnot. I know you guys from like you sending out emails. And now, hey, it's nice to meet you. It's nice to put name to face. And then you might continue to do more business on the internet side, specifically because you connected in person at a show. So it does serve a purpose. It's not like it's all lost because of how much we can do with online.
That's true. Makes it more tangible. Yeah, it's always been a funnel for me for online interests, meeting them in person, going to conventions.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, like after events, these become long-term friends,
Yeah.
or dealers or whatnot. Yeah, so I've been in the same position with meeting some of my closest friends I go to conventions with every year. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's great to state that. Yeah. But yeah, it's a little bit of both. But yeah, it's a funnel. I would say online's a funnel. Let's see. In province becoming more important than grading in today's hot market. Provenance.
I mean, if you're talking about U.S. coins, no. Short answer, no.
Okay.
I At the end of the day, like what holder a coin is and what that number is, it's going to be king. It doesn't matter if it's a dog of a coin. Like at the end of the day, if a coin in MS62 is a $4,000 coin and MS61 it's a $1,400 coin, if it's in that 62 holder and it's a dog, it really should be a 61. But it has low eye appeal. It's going to be a $3,600 coin. It's never going to be because it was provenance to whatever, or at some point, like I don't think like the history matters. People really care, especially on the registry set builder side, about what it says on the holder. And yeah, buy the coin, not the holder, but that still means it doesn't mean you pay 61 price if it's a true 61 and a 62 holder. It means you pay way back of 62 price, but still closer to 62 because someone's going to buy it for that grade at some point.
Yeah,
that's fair. That's a fair response. Let's see. Okay, somebody starting from zero. Okay, if you were starting from zero inventory, what would you do first? What's your first move?
That depends if you're starting with zero money or not.
That's true.
it makes a big difference.
Money, a way to build up inventory is just go to a show, buy a dealer's badge or buy an early bird badge, and go over to a table and see if like someone that you meet at that show, whether it's local or regional or national, will be able to work with you. Say like, I'm looking to build up a lot of these coins for whatever platform I want to sell on, whether it's live streaming, whether it's eBay, or you have your own like in-person like sort of venue that you can sell, like a flea market or something like that. Just go over and say, I want to build up inventory. I'm looking for US type coins. Like they can be details. They can be something like have some problems, but they need like go through and say, okay, this one's marked at this. Can you do this? And just make a wholesale deal. Then instant, $500 in inventory. If you have no money, I'd say maybe just buy like a couple coins on eBay or live streaming and flip them for $20 and work your profit and work your day job. And, it will be a slower process, but that's what you've got to do in order to get up to a different level.
Yeah. Or you could find someone, if you're just getting into it and you have zero money. This is a unique business in that entry levels are relatively low. So if you're just starting out and you do have, people that are maybe have coins, like work out an agreement where they can consign them to you.
Yeah.
And then you sell them.
Yeah, that's another option. I personally veer away from that because it's like, if I was working with someone that was brand new, I really wouldn't want to make that offer to someone. I mean, it's like, there's too many horror stories of people just starting out in coins and saying, oh, can I take these coins on consignment? Like, I'm a nice guy. You could, and then it leads to some sort of fallout. So definitely make sure, like, maybe the person you're dealing with, you have like a close personal relationship with outside of coins before making that attempt, because you're going to talk to a lot of dealers and they're going to be like, no, like this isn't going to work. Like I'm not going to offer you the service. But definitely, I mean, if you're going to be honest and uphold your end of the deal, then and someone's willing to take that chance with you, then go for it.
Yeah, thanks for the question, Cindy. We got a bunch of questions, but I'll get one more in here before we wrap up and get our final words for the day.
Make it a good one.
All right, let's do a good one. Patient right timing. Taking your collectors. Go. Let's see. Zach.
Hey Zach, while Dustin's looking, quick question. And again, I love speaking with younger people for your insights and how you see the world and the way where it's going, especially relative to this industry. But how do you see technology affecting an industry that is, there's dealers that are still using software from the 80s to run their business. It's not an industry that tech has really infiltrated so much, other than like online platforms and advertising online. I'm talking about the rails of the business, the whether it's using blockchain, whether it's using Web3. Just want your thoughts on what you see coming down the pike on those on technology affecting this industry.
So oddly enough, sorry, again, I'm still a little bit sick. Oddly enough, the technology side, like crypto and blockchain and those sorts of things, I am way too old school. Like, we're still taking checks, like that sort of, like, we're a young company, but at the end of the day, we do business with mainly older clientele. So we haven't gotten to that point where we're utilizing these new school, like, kind of business and money exchange platforms in order to grow our business, just because that's not our clientele. In the future, it's definitely something I'd be willing to embrace, but my mind's more on the coins. Mine's more on, like, building the collectors than the exchange sort of side for, payment platforms and that sort of thing.
Okay.
But so I'm probably the wrong person to ask, because I'm an old soul in those sorts of questions.
Okay. Appreciate it. Did you find a good question, Dustin?
Yeah, you got one question, last one here. What was the exact moment you realized coins could become more than just a hobby?
This is.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Got too excited.
Got too excited about that one.
Tone that question now. Or was previously asked, maybe was. I'll just wait. I'll wait for Zach to get back. I'll just plug in our stuff here, guys.
Yeah,
Check us out.
For everyone listening, I mean, listen, there's no slowdown here, and I don't see it coming. There's so many more reasons why coins, precious metals, all rarities are going to continue to appreciate, and very few reasons why they might go down. So give us a call.
Oh wait, do you see me now?
Yeah,
I see you now.
So my phone, it said, "Do you want to enter low power mode?" And I said no, and then it logged me out. So
dropped you out.
Yeah, that was very strange. But the story I tell, if everything is working now, right? Correct.
Yeah, you're good.
The story I tell super often is my dad. My dad basically, when I was, like, just getting into this, he had a close friend, and this guy had money. He had one of his kids, like, I went to school with. He had two kids. He had a wife, Mercedes, nice house and everything. And they were out at a party. And my dad's like, "Oh, so what do you do for a living?" And he's like, "I'm a rare coin dealer." My dad's like, no effing way. There's no way that this guy is, because this is just when I started getting into collecting coins, is making all this money. And it's got to be that he did something else, and this is kind of what he does for fun. He's like, no, like, this is what I've been doing my whole life. I work with high-end stuff. I work with different clients, and I kind of travel the country just buying, like, the best coins I can buy. And he's like, wow, that's really cool. So that was a catalyst for my dad to really support me in going into this industry full time, to see someone that's, like, so successful and on his, like, and able to outpace his level in business from something like coins. So it led to a lot of his respect and support in my pursuing this. And unfortunately, this guy, 𝗙𝗿𝘀𝗺, he passed when I was very young from pancreatic cancer, which is something, like, you cannot, like, it just comes back. And for my 13th birthday, he gave me a 2002 proof silver eagle, So I have that on my desk at home every time, like just in the stood up. So I'm looking at it every time. It kind of motivates me, like, look at how I got here. And that was kind of, an incredible gift and motivation for me to put all the work I can do to do this full time.
It's a great story.
Thank you.
That's good stuff. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, we'll just final plug here. Call us 561-310-8341. Email us uniquecoins@gmail.com. Website coinandcurrency.net. Find us on eBay, American CC. We have Zach, Ratté, Rare Coin, ZR Rare Coin, 978-806-1946 IG, ZR Rare.
And for Flower Hill Collectibles, which is primarily like where you should be going through, I have an email directly through there, which is ZRATTE. So my first initial last name at flowerhillcollectibles.com. And then you can also on Whatnot, where I'm streaming live every Tuesday for Flower Hill Collectibles, is under Flower Hill Collectibles at Flower Hill Collectibles. And I've built it up to over 11,000 followers. So it's a pretty big channel at this point.
Nice.
Yeah. So tune in next Tuesday. I'll have some new product. And if anyone here is like, I want to build a great set of Morgan dollars or Peace dollars, we have a very large inventory. So feel free to give us a call, and I can put you on a list that we'll send out our wholesale inventory list, and I'll send some videos of some great coins.
Awesome.
For sure.
Awesome.
All right, we're here at the hour.
Right.
Words,
thanks for having me.
Yeah. Any advice for our audience?
Advice. I feel like I gave a lot of advice.
You did give a lot of advice. That's true. Maybe parting words.
Parting words is, I guess you heard my story and where I'm at, and it's definitely something I look to continue to do in the future. And I want to make myself and our company a name in the rare coin industry. So definitely, check in on all of our platforms. Follow me, follow Flower Hill as in our journey as trying to become, we are, but continue our pursuits as like one of the top coin dealers in the country.
Sounds good.
Thank you so much.
Zach, John, any final words of advice? Things going on?
Final words. I'll say it. I think I say it every week. Have physical assets. If you don't have physical assets, you don't have anything.
True.
Yep. I don't know if you don't have silver or gold right now as part of your portfolio, what are you doing?
Yeah.
All the banks are flipping now. And Bank of America even came out at the beginning of the week saying now you should own at least 30%. 30% of your portfolio should be allocated towards precious metals.
Mm-hmm.
Where in the past it was literally 5% or to 0, and they never recommended it.
Wow.
So that's just writing on the wall right there, and that's just one of many. Plus, there's still 4.4 billion ounce short that has not been covered yet. And that's going to be interesting to see what happens with that. I really think the silver squeeze that has not happened yet is going to be the catalyst to a black swan event. And I really try not to be a negative guy, but just look at what's happening. So if you whether it's you have property, whether you have precious metals, whether you have artwork, you have to have assets, and so do what you can to get those. That's my best advice.
Awesome.
Thanks, Zach. Really appreciate
being here.
All right.
Yeah, we're gonna have a panel
here Thursday.
Yeah, we're gonna have a panel. We're gonna bring you on with others. I'd love to invite you. So it's going on next month.
Good. Yeah, I'll look forward to your correspondence.
Sounds great.
All right, Zach.
Thank you.
Dustin, take care.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
All right.
This is American Coin and Currency, from passion to profession, building a career in numismatics. We'll see you guys next week, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, and we'll be here next week. See you.